Hello everybody, and guess what? We're back! After a 2-month hiatus, we have finally arrived at the number of the beast! I'm sorry, that was terrible on my part. Season 6 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to Daytona Speedweek as we're getting set for 4 events this week, heading into the Daytona 500. First, the race we got here today is the Budweiser Shootout. Tomorrow will be Daytona 500 qualifying. Wednesday will be the Gatorade Duels. And then Thursday is the Daytona 500. So 4 events this week to get started for Season 6. Now, a couple of changes for Season 6. No chase. We're going to just do, from now on, a straight-up 36 race point system where whoever has the most points at the end of the season is deemed the champion. Also, different team names this week. We're going mostly original team names such as Retro Racing Enterprises, Kamikaze Racing, Backmarker Motorsports, etc., etc. There's a lot of different factors that are going to be in play this season, and I'm looking forward to seeing how everything plays out. But ladies and gentlemen, it's Budweiser Shootout time here at Daytona, and as you see the starting lineup on the side of your screen, Jay Jefferson starting up at the front. Let's go ahead and get this party started.
Drivers, start your engines.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready for some racing. Now, another big note with this week, and it's going to be mainly relevant to the restrictor plate style racetracks like Daytona, Talladega, Armory Digital, etc., etc., is that we are running truck physics at these tracks to see if we can get the best racing out of these places, because if I'm going to be honest, the majority of the play races we had last season weren't all that great, Daytona in particular. So we're running with also a brand new EXE, which is like an FTF EXE for offline purposes for Daytona and Talladega, and truck physics, and I've done some tests with it, and I gotta be honest, some great racing really came out of this, so I'm hoping, despite with it only being a 23-car field for this race, I'm hoping we can see some great racing here to kind of showcase how things could be for Daytona Speedweek, how the racing could turn out, I should say. But we're coming out of turn 4 to the tri-oval, pace car into pit road, and ladies and gentlemen, finally, after 2 months, it is time to boogity, 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 go racing. James Qualls leads the first lap after it seemed like Jay Jefferson just did not get going at all on that start, as he really fell back, and in fact he's continuing to lose spots as we speak. Now, one little tiny issue that I've seen with this package we're doing here at Daytona is that if you're 3 wide running up high, you could scrape the wall just a tad off the corners, and that's because of the speeds they're going, which they were going a little over 200 miles an hour, but they're still keeping it fairly stable, as right now Qual's continuing to lead. But we got a couple of new contenders coming up here. Dylan Poteet in the 31 is now up here, and he's going to have the run to the inside. Can he make it stick? And it looks like he does, and makes that pass look easy as he goes to the front. Zachary Fitzwater gets the wall, and that's from carrying too much speed, running up at the very top, trying to keep the 3 wide racing at bay. Meanwhile, behind Dylan Poteet, in a same team but different number, Tim Fiegel for Sega Motorsports, but in the 15 car, and that's because the 8 has gone to Michael Norman Motorsports, in which Cole Deaver will be in that car, and we won't see him or Michael Norman in action until tomorrow for Daytona 500 qualifying. So we'll see the Michael Norman Motorsports cars debut tomorrow. Meanwhile, right now in third, as the racing's starting to get a little spread out a little bit right now, and I feel like it's because of the fact that it's a small field, which is why we're not seeing too much happen right now. But right now in third, Jonathan Zorlin in the 41, brand new team. He was in the 88 for the past couple of seasons and didn't really have much luck, so the 41 team for Curtis McIntyre Racing, Jonathan Zorlin's definitely hoping he can catch some luck in a different team. As right now, because they're racing really hard up here at the front now, Dylan Poteet's starting to pull away a little bit, but we got new contenders. Jessica Shelton up here now trying to get to the lead, and she's going to pull out way down low. But she doesn't have much drafting help unless Jake Rogers or Chris Dollarton can make it work. And now Shelton's going to have that run. And here she comes, and is going to take the lead from the 31 of Poteet. Chris Dollarton, number 83, his favorite number in the Nationwide Chevy for Backmarker Motorsports. Close at the line. I'm not sure who got. I think it was Shelton. Indeed it was, but just barely. Imagine if that would have been the finish. That would have been incredible. Jake Baskinger running for Baker Baskinger Racing in the number 54 Bass Pro Shops Toyota. As Sheldon gets the wall a little bit coming off of 4. Again, that's going to be typical with the package we're running here at Daytona. But she's still carrying a lot of speed on the outside, which is good. So it seems like even if you just barely scrape the wall, you're still going to have a lot of momentum. DJ Curtis, one of the co-owners of Curtis McIntyre Racing, co-owners with Matt McIntyre, running the number 4 Best Buy Ford. Look at the run he's getting on the bottom as they are 3 wide, several rows deep. This is the kind of racing I was hoping we'd see. It took a few laps for it to kick in, but they are really going at it now. And also, as far as you noticed, or also you may notice that the cars running on the bottom tend to touch the yellow line a little bit. But luckily there is no out of bounds in this series, so that's going to be all fine. 3 wide for the lead. Fiegel with the run to the inside takes the spot. And look who's behind him in a brand new team. This is the 3rd different team this guy's been in since this series was incepted. And that is Rafael Leduc in the 09 Low Chevy for Retro Racing Enterprises. Trying to run the outside line as he's up high 3 wide of Joshua Collard and James Shelley. And Shelley, actually with a bit of help from Kyle Matthews, going to now take the lead for himself as Leduc gets the wall. Yeah, it's only turn 2, it looks like. Off of turn 2, if you're the front car on the outside, you're going to brush the wall a little bit. I've only noticed it off of 2, but look at the move James Qualls made. Holy cow, it seems like someone really lit a fire under his rear end. And now James Qualls really pushing, and look, he's got a gap going. Right now, Qualls has the lead back, as we just got through halfway, as we got 8 laps left here in the Budweiser Shootout. A little exhibition to get some of these veteran drivers time to prepare for the week to come. And also keep in mind that with the Daytona 500, it is also presented by Marvel Studios' Avengers Endgame, which comes out in theaters on the 26th. While this race is being recorded almost or less than 2 weeks before the movie's set to release, it is out on this race is out the week of the movie being released. So just think that this Friday is Avengers Endgame Day, which is going to be amazing. I can't wait to go see it. But anyways, Qual's still hanging on, but a couple of challengers, Dylan Young in the 2, who has won this race. I think he won this race 2 seasons in a row at one point. Trying to go for a third one, but right now Jake Rogers, same number, different sponsor, and a different team. In fact, he owns this team, JR Empire Motorsports, and he has a teammate, Joshua Collard, in the 43, who is somewhere in the back right now. And look at Carson Gum in the Town of Salem Toyota for Baker Baskinger Racing. Right behind him is former series champion Joshua Sekuli in the number 10 Mountain Dew Kickstart Ford for Curtis McIntyre Racing. And I see coming up through the middle is defending series champion and owner of Kamikaze Racing, Dylan Jacobs, Kamikaze Games himself, running his namesake on the front of his race car. Right now he's trying to get the middle lane to work, but he's got Sekuli in front of him to try and work with. As right now Carson Gum actually leads the way, as we are getting some really good racing now with this package. So I'm very, very proud of what we were able to accomplish here today here at Daytona. As Dollarton has the lead, but here comes Poteet with a run behind. Gonna pull out down low and try and get that run on the bottom. And he's gonna get it and lead that lap. Didn't need any drafting help to make that work, and now he clears Dollarton, as we got less than 5 laps to go. And also I noticed when they're on the bottom right there, going into turn 1, it does get a little bit bumpy for some drivers to work around. Let's take a look and see where some drivers who we haven't talked about much are running. James McLeod running here in the back. Seth Cole, same thing, he's running in the back. Zachary Fitzwater actually trying to work his way up to the front, running the bottom lane. In fact, he's the 6th car in line. Now that could all change as they're shuffling up here at the front. Anthony McCurry trying to hang on to second right now, but Rafael Leduc in the 09 got a big run. But he kind of left the bottom open, as here comes James Shelley in the 71 for Backmarker Motorsports up here. And actually Backmarker Motorsports gone through a big expansion over the course of the off-season, as it's now a 4-car team with Shelley in the 71, Seth Cole in the 98, Anthony McCurry in the 61, and Chris Dollarton in the 83. So Backmarker Motorsports underwent a big expansion over the course of the last couple of months. And they're looking forward to try and win more races here in Season 6. As right now, Jonathan Zorleen now up to second, as it's now less than 3 to go here in the Budweiser Shootout. But look at Dylan Jacobs trying to keep momentum he's had since winning the championship last season in Season 5 and keep it going and maybe try and dominate Daytona Speedweek. Right now he runs 3rd, but he's going to have a couple of Retro Racing Enterprise cars on his tail. James Qualls with a run to the inside. Kyle Matthews trying to give him some help, but he's having to fight alongside Tim Fiegel and company. Qualls does clear to 78 for the 3rd spot for now, as Zorleen and Poteet have just kind of been by themselves for a little bit. But now look at Qualls. Qualls is really showing a more aggressive side here. Perhaps some encouragement from his teammates have really helped him to try and be a little more aggressive in his approach to racing and see if that can give him some help. Right now, running that pep talk he must have got from his teammates is starting to pay off, as he's right now running up here in 3rd, trying to run lower to try and get a bigger run on drivers. Right now, because of the momentum the 31 and the 41 have, and the racing's starting to get a bit single file up here as we're coming to the white flag. White flag is out here at Daytona for the Budweiser Shootout. Dylan Poteet leads. Qual's trying to pull out down low to get second at least. He's going to be able to get there, but that might have sealed the deal unless drafting help comes into play for the 70, in which it's looking like it's starting to happen. Tim Fiegel trying to push him. However, we go to helicopter view. Fiegel's trying to get the bottom lane working for himself as Jay Jefferson, who started on the pole, trying to make a final stretch to get a good run to kickstart Daytona Speedweek. 3 wide for second, but it looks like the win is given to Dylan Poteet as we're coming out of turn number 4 for the final time here in this first event. Checkered flag waving by a narrow margin. Dylan Poteet wins the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona. Despite dominating the last few laps there at the end, we saw some spectacular racing here in the early going, or around the midway point. Hopefully, whenever we get to the 500 and there's a bigger field, we could see even better racing. And I can't wait for that. But congratulations to Dylan Poteet for getting Season 6 started off to a good start by winning the exhibition specialty, the Budweiser Shootout, to kickstart Daytona Speedweek. Let's look at the rest of the results. The rest of the top 10, Jay Jefferson came back strong with a second place finish. Jake Baskinger came out of nowhere and got a third place run. Tim Fiegel, solid performance in fourth, and then Chris Dollarton rounding out the top 5. James Qualls definitely got a good finish despite getting passed a few times there at the end, but he showed an aggressive side that really paid off and got him a strong run in 6th. Anthony McCurry with a great run in 7th. Jonathan Zorling's solid performance in 8th. Joshua Collard rounding out 9th. And then rounding out the top 10 is James McLeod. As there's the rest of your top 20 and then the rest of the field that finished. But no wrecks. Everybody finished on the lead lap, all within a second and a half of each other. So all in all, pretty successful opening to Daytona Speedweek, might I say. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is just the first of 4 events this week. Tomorrow is Daytona 500 qualifying, Wednesday the Gatorade Duels, and then Thursday, the eve of Avengers Endgame, is the Daytona 500. But until tomorrow, here are your final results, and we'll see you tomorrow for Daytona 500 qualifying. But I'm Levi McIntyre, signing off.